So guys, I apologize first off. It's been like a week since I've uploaded, and I've just been really busy in the knife shop, and that's been wonderful. Got a lot of knives out, and then I know somebody's gonna ask right away,
where's the frame lock folder at?
I had some time to do a little bit more design work. I think I've got the design tweaked, but that's all I've done this past week. The amount of time that I can actually put towards that project with trying to make knives for customers and actually run the knife business is kind of limited, so it's gonna be a slow ongoing project, but be patient. I am working on it, I'm excited about it, but I haven't done much on it this week to share with you. But I'm super excited about the weather change that we're having. This has been a crazy weather season all over the place, all over North America. It's been insane. And you know what? Spring is finally starting to show its face around here. But what that means, tons of water from all the melting snow. So what I'm doing is every day I get up, and in the mornings I start this little pump that I have. We've got like 400 feet of hose. I run it out like into our back pasture there. And all day long I'm like shuffling this little pump around, dealing with all these puddles that, you know, you deal with them and then boom, 10 minutes later they're back. But it's great. I'm really excited to get all this mud gone. And with this change in the weather, it means we've also got some really great cycling weather. So today what I thought I'd do for a video, I just want to show you my bike that I've recently acquired. Now I picked this thing up in, I think it was January, the very beginning of this year, and I've got some ideas behind it. I'll kind of explain to you why I went with this bicycle. We'll just take a look at it, and I'm just going to kind of show you what I want to use it for, the changes that I'm going to make to suit those needs, and do that. I mean, cycling is a huge part of my life. I love bicycles, and I just want to share them with you guys. You guys might too. I've had a lot of really great conversations on Instagram about bikes and this and that, and I actually used to be a bicycle blogger too. Jerome's bikes.blogspot.com. It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of really great people. I used to travel a lot for work, and I'd actually meet some of these fellow bloggers in person, and now a lot of them I follow them on Instagram, and we converse, we keep in touch, and it's just really cool. You know, it's like knife making. You find people that are like-minded, and it's just fun to hang out and share stories and learn from and share with. So that's what this video is about today. Let's head in the garage and I'll show you this bike. Alrighty, Karate Monkey Junkie. Alright, so this is my bike here, and this is a 2018 Surly Karate Monkey. Now, what the Karate Monkey is it's a, well, first of all, let's start out with the company Surly. So if you've never heard of Surly bikes before, they're a bit of an odd company. They're a bunch of scallywags and rebels. They're just a really weird company, but they make awesome bikes. They kind of buck the trends, the current trends in the cycling world. For instance, all of their bikes, I'm pretty sure every single one is steel framed, 4130 chromoly steel framed, and I love that because when you get decent quality steel tubing, it's beautiful because it flexes and it's stiff enough to be efficient, but it also, you know, the buzz, the vibrations, it's amazing when you ride a really nice steel frame, how awesome it is. And Surly makes good stuff. They're not like the most beautiful frames on earth, but they're pretty decent frames. So that's what Surly is, and this is their Karate Monkey. So this one here, the Karate Monkey originally came out with is based on the 29-inch wheel, so that's the wheel diameter. They also run this one kind of offered as an option with a 27.5-inch plus, so the 27.5-inch by 3-inch wheels, and that option comes geared. This one, when you buy it, it comes as a single speed. But as you can tell, I put a cassette on here, and this is an 11 speed, so it's a standby. It's silly for me to try and explain this to you on the non-drive side. Besides, everybody knows you only take pictures of a bike on the drive side. Okay. I have put on it's a 1x11, one sprocket at the front, and then 11 at the back. So this is an 11 tooth all the way up to a 46 tooth. This is kind of crazy. It really gives you really super low gears. And my idea behind building this bike is that I really want something for riding around on gravel, exploring dirt trails, but I also want to be able to do a little bit of highway jaunts, you know, in between the trails that I like to explore. I didn't want to commit to a full-on fat bike, like, you know, the fat tired bikes, the Pugsleys or whatever like that. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go with a pseudo fat bike. So what I've done is I've actually ran the Plus tires. Now, these are 29 by 3-inch wide tires, and Surly's motto, I kind of have it covered up with my chain guard here, but it says fatties fit fine. That basically stands for the way they design their bikes, with tons of clearance for tires both front and back. And as you can tell with these 29 by 3, they don't say that this tire will fit on here, but there's still enough clearance there. Like, I've probably got a good 3/8 on each side. So, you know, it's just like they say, indeed, that fatties do fit fine on these bikes. This bike came with these Ardent. These are 29 by 2.4, and they're pretty good tire, but I wanted these so that I could run them in a lower pressure, and I ran these at about 15 PSI, and they didn't get any pinch flats or anything. It'd definitely be better if I had bigger rims, but I ran these at a lower temperature, and so you kind of float on the snow, and this has been awesome in the winter. So today what I was planning on doing is switching back these 3 inches to 2.4 inches, just so I've got a slightly quicker tire. I've changed my mind because these things handle so nice on the gravel, and they're not that slow. Like yesterday I was out for a little rip, and I got up to 54 kilometers an hour on a little hill, and I can cruise comfortably at about 25 kilometers an hour, you know, not stressing myself, just nice easy pace. So, you know what, I'm gonna keep these on. I love these fat tires, and they're so comfortable. You can crank up the pressure when you want to cruise out on the highway. You can lower it down for the really soft stuff. And the idea that I had with this bike is that, you know, I've got a busy life. We've got 4 kids, and I love my family. I love spending time with my family. And honestly, it'd be fun, but I have no real desire to get into extreme like bike packing or multi-day cycling trips. I think what I have to give up in order to do those at this stage of my life, I'm not overly interested in. I still like to get a little tiny taste of it. And there's a bike blogger, Pondero, Christopher, and you know, he's a really cool guy. I follow him on Instagram now. Where I heard of this term was from him, and it's a term called micro adventuring. I'll get my boys, I'll put together some bikes for them, we'll head out, and you know, we'll take like a little camp stove, one of those little burner stoves, and my AeroPress and some coffee and water, maybe a snack, and we can just ride down the gravel road for an hour, pull over somewhere, someplace that looks neat, or if there's neat birds around, and we'll just sit there and make a coffee on the side of the road and just enjoy it. And then when we're done, we just come back home, and we've given up, what, 2 to 3 hours of our day on a weekend or something like that. It is such a great way to refresh your mind and your body and your spirit. I absolutely love these little micro adventures, and if I've got some tempering to do, you know, I've got a 2-hour temper cycle, I'll say, hey guys, go grab your bikes and your helmets, we're gonna go out for a little rip. And we'll just go for like an hour-and-a-half ride, just tool around wherever we feel like going, and it is so much fun. So that was kind of my idea behind this bike. And the one thing I'm gonna do today though is that I picked up this porcelain rocket frame bag. This is a partial frame bag, and I put this on my bike, but I wasn't 100% sure if I was gonna like it or if I wanted to commit to it. Having used it now, I absolutely love this thing. So I've got a side pocket here, and it's a fairly thin pocket. This is great for your phone, for your wallet. It's got some little emergency lights if I ever need them in here. And then on this other side, we've got this larger pocket, and this is where you can keep tools, you can keep food, snacks. Like, check out that inner tube. That's a big honking inner tube. That's a 29 by 3 inner tube. So that stays in here, and then I've also got this little multi-tool in here. And then on the back here, this little weird gizmo, I don't know where I got this idea from, but I've been doing this for years and years and years. This is actually my second karate monkey I've owned. I had a red one before in Chum Bucket Red. That's kind of how Surly is. They got some really weird names. This is basically just a piece of canvas, and you kind of roll up your tools, and I think I have an extra tube in here as well. We'll take a look at what's in here, but you kind of roll it all, fold it all up in a burrito, and then you just cinch it to your seat with these toe straps. And this is really nice because it stays on the bike, it doesn't go anywhere. It's inexpensive, and the thing I really like about this option is that I've got this piece of canvas as a workspace. If I have to do a roadside repair, I can take this out and lay it out, and you can at least keep things off the ground, keep them relatively clean when you're working on them. I should actually put a rag in here too. I don't have one, but I'll show you this in a minute. But the one thing I'm going to do today is a trick that I learned from yet even another bicycle blogger, that Jeff Moser from Carson City, Nevada. He showed me this tip. I actually saw it on Instagram. And in order to protect your frame when you've got these frame bags on, you can take clear Gorilla Tape. And apparently that stuff just peels right off. It doesn't affect your paint underneath, but it really protects the scratching. And I'm even thinking about putting pieces here so I don't get abrasion from my cables. But I'll just quickly show you the contents of this bag, what I keep in it, and then also a few of the other modifications I made to this bike. All right, so let's just take this off. So really, to take this little kit off, you just do that. I don't undo them all the way. I just kind of loosen them up a bit. And then boom, you've got your bicycle burrito. Just like that. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. Actually, that's not the name of my bike. I named this bike Purple Nurple. And yes, I know what a Purple Nurple is. I just saw that color and I needed a name that went with that color, and I thought, you know what, Purple Nurple, you might as well suffer, let's push ourselves. I don't know. The bike's called Purple Nurple, I'm not sure why. So if we take a look at what's inside of here, there's where that pump went. Didn't even know. So this was set up before. This is a 29 by 1.92, which doesn't work for this bike. Obviously, I don't need this. But I also have this set up for when I ride with my wife. She's got a 29er, hers is a Kona. I kept that for her, and then this is a 26 by 2.5. So this was actually for a different bike. So I'm gonna get rid of this. Don't need this in here. I'd rather put a rag because the rag is lighter and more useful. Planet Bike Micromite, which is I think the same pump that I bought to put on my bike. I've got one of these Topic multi-tools. That's a pretty good tool. I like it. Lots of different options. Even has different spoke wrenches in there if I do believe correctly. Yeah, I've got 2 there and tire lever, all this stuff. Really handy tool. And these little tools, they save your butt so much when you're cycling. I don't know why I have these. These are scabs, peel and stick patches. I thought, you know what, if you're really desperate, it might be nice to have them. And then also a Planet Bike, a Red Zeppelin. So basically this is a CO2 canister. And then it's got this little thing, you pop it on, you can switch this from Schrader to Presta valve, I do believe. Yeah, this one works for both Schrader and Presta valves. You basically put this on your bike and you can use this and fill up your tires. This is obviously just as an emergency thing as well as a pump, because really flat tires suck. Extra tubes. Maybe I should put some really good Gorilla Tape in here, duct tape or something as well, but that's basically what I keep in this little kit. It's not a very intense kit. I don't have like extra spokes or anything like that. I originally had this on my Surly long haul trucker, which actually had spoke holders in the seat stays. But anyways, this is kind of what I keep on it. And again, I love this canvas because you can set your stuff on it when you're working, and it's just nice to be able to see your parts. You know, you don't lose them in the grass or whatever like that. Really, really handy. That's what I keep in there. So that's pretty much what I keep in my little tool kits. Those are basically the tools I carry, and it's not an overly extensive kit. But like I said, I'm only going for maybe an hour or 2 out of the way. It's not like I'm taking this for hours and hours on end where I could be in real trouble. Having said that, this isn't what I'm not completely satisfied with my storage, because one thing I'd like to do this summer is actually do deliveries to the post office on my bicycle. So I'd like to be able to package up my knives, ship them off to customers, but ride in, because the way I figured I'm probably about 2.5 hours round trip to the post office and back. That would be a really awesome sanity break. In the summertime, I used to live in Rockyford, and I commuted to Strathmore, and it's 26 miles each way. And I did that 3 days a week for a whole summer. And so that's a lot of cycling. I mean, I put on a lot of miles and I absolutely loved it. You get healthy. I'm obviously not in great shape right now, but when you ride that much, you know, I don't ride for exercise, I ride for enjoyment, but that's just a nice byproduct. Now, you're not gonna get in really, really amazing shape at the pace that I ride. I'm not, like I say, I don't ride for exercise. Don't even consider that an option. That's, if I'm gonna do something for exercise, I'll go run or I'll do weights or something like that. But for me, cycling is for the fun of it. But anyways, let's go ahead and take this frame pack off and we'll put some tape on it, and we'll see how well that works. All right, I think that's it. All right, now we've got a frame bag on. Back to this little thing. What I've decided to do is I'm gonna put this my big 3-inch inner tube in here. I've got this one that will work for my wife's bike. There, I've got a rag right here. Try and keep these about the same. And then I've decided I don't really need 2 bicycle pumps. This is actually the same one. I didn't know where this was. Lo and behold, it was on my bike the whole time, and so I went out and bought a newer version of the Mighty Mite. I'll show you real quick. I like this one because it's got the capacity for pumping larger volumes. If you're not gonna go with a full-on frame pump, this is kind of nice. You can turn this in and then you lock it like that. So this will give you really high pressures. You unlock it and this will give you higher volumes. So it's kind of nice that it does both. So I'm gonna use this. I've never actually had to use this before. I've tested it out when I'm doing maintenance and stuff. It works fairly well, but I'm gonna put this on another one of my bikes. So get this out of this bag. Now, when you're folding these up, the idea is you want them really nice and tight and compact. So again, I've got my tubes here, I've got a rag right here, and I might add more stuff to this as I acquire it or as I see that I need it, but kind of keep everything nice and tight. And then you fold these edges in like this. Now, if you've ever been to Mucho Burrito and if you've seen them fold burritos, it's the exact same thing. And if you haven't seen them fold burritos, I highly recommend you go get a Mucho Burrito. And then you can watch them fold it if you'd like, but why wouldn't you want a burrito? Okay? And get this, and you want to really crank it nice and tight like that. And then I put this flap down so that rain won't get into it. And then when we cinch that on the bike, it should keep everything in a nice tight bundle. And I've used these for a long time. They don't come undone. Very simple, very cheap, and they work really, really well. And then we'll put this back on the bike. Again, make sure this flap is down. And these cycling straps, you can get them just about anywhere. These are old vintage cycling toe straps. Now it looks like this little burrito's a little wider, a little longer than the other one was. Cinch that super tight. But I think we're still going to be good there. Let me move this. I think we're good. We won't have interference, and we've got our spare toolkit. Works really, really well. And I personally I think it looks cool. It looks kind of old school, hardcore cyclist. Anyways, that's that. So we've got a little burrito mounted, we've got our frame bag put on, and I'll kind of walk you through the other changes that I've made to this bike. So the first thing, probably the biggest thing I've done is I put new handlebars. These came with some straight bars. The stock Surly Karate Monkeys come with these really wide bars. I don't know why they're so wide. They're uncomfortably wide, and I've got long arms. But I got these Jones H bars, and I'm really liking these. I'd wanted them for years. I've never used them, but I finally picked them up and absolutely love them. I put the Aragon Bar Grips on. I find they really help provide a lot of cushioning, and my hands don't get so numb with them. And that's one other thing is that, you know, a lot of adults, they try and get into cycling and they find the bike so uncomfortable. And that is a huge part of cycling, is that you get a bike properly fitted. I used to go in for bike fittings when I'd buy new bikes, but I've ridden bikes enough now and tinkered with them enough that I've got a good idea in my head what I need to adjust and change to make it fit me properly. And once you get a really comfortable bike, that makes all the difference in the world. You know, a lot of people say, oh, your saddle's got to be like this angle, like this angle. Really? Do whatever feels good for you. If you've got a saddle and you put it on and it's uncomfortable, change the angles a bit, raise it, lower it just the slightest little bit, and it's going to make a huge difference in your riding experience. This saddle I have, again, here's the Brooks B17 hand-hammered copper rivets. These things take like 500 miles to break them in, but once they're fit to your butt, they are so comfortable. Also on that, with this bike, it does have routing for an internal dropper seat post. So they've got the seat posts that have a little shock in there and a little lock mechanism, and then there's a little lever that you put on your handlebars. So if you're doing really technical riding, you can just drop your seat down while you're riding, and then, you know, once you're out of that stuff and you want more pedal efficiency, a longer stroke, leg stroke, you can just and press your lever and then the seat goes back up. Those are kind of cool. And the nice thing, this bike does have this feature built into it. And the Karate Monkey, the geometry is fairly sporting, like it's quite a nimble bike, and you can run suspension forks with them. I forget what length is. They've got the suspension corrected geometry for it, but that's pretty much my bike. Obviously, I added this shifter because I added a cassette at the back. And then the one upgrade I wouldn't mind making is these ones have the Hayes disc brakes. Now, I'm not against the mechanical disc brakes. I really like them, especially, you know, I've ridden this thing in minus 29 Celsius. And the hydraulic disc brakes, they act weird in that temperature. Obviously, liquid gets a lot thicker. But the old Karate Monkeys used to come with the Avid BB7 brakes, which I prefer by far. And then also the old ones, like my last Karate Monkey frame, it actually had options for V brakes if you want to run that. These ones are disc only, but I love disc brakes. They work so well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what I've done to the bike. Obviously, I've got a little light here. This is a USB chargeable LED, and this is the mode I run most of the time. When you're on a busy highway, it's nice to let motorists know you're there. Sure beats getting hit, and I have been hit on a bicycle before. This is my GPS, and right now I just have electrical tape on it. I need to get a proper mount. I know Ram makes really good mounts, but I'm thinking about making one. One other project I want to make for this is a front rack. I really like the Surly 24-pack rack, and I think that'd be awesome to put all the knives that I'm taking the post office on here. But I'd like to make my own. I'd like to get some tubing and braze one up and stuff like that. So that's a project I have ongoing. I don't think I'm going to do any rear racks on this. And then at the back here, I've got a Planet Bike blinker, super flash. These things are awesome. I had somebody I knew passed me once on a highway, and they said they could see this for over 2 miles away. So I run this light in the flash mode all the time when I'm riding around on the highways. And that's pretty much it. That's my bike. That's how I've got it set up. It's not entirely finished yet, but it's the point where I'm really, really satisfied with it. And it is so much fun. You know, if I talk to a lot of adults and like, oh, it looks like so much fun to get back into cycling. And you know, as kids, obviously it's like the freedom machine, right? You can rip around the neighborhood, and they're like, I just can't find a good bike. Well, you know what? if you're looking to get a really comfortable bike that's fun to ride, I think a lot of the major manufacturers are doing a better job at tailoring to that market. But you can find old vintage steel framed mountain bikes that make great platforms to build up a really comfortable cruising bike, just something to rip around on. But the right bike makes all the difference, and that it's huge what it does to your cycling comfort. So if you've been considering getting into cycling again, or it's something that looks interesting to you, I would highly encourage you to check it out. Just go down that road. You know, you don't have to spend a lot of money. I'm going to show you a bike that I actually have. I found for $20, and all the parts that I put on it are all stuff that I've had. I bought some new tires for it, but it's going to be an upcoming project that I'm going to be doing on this channel, and it is a beautiful bike. I'm worried that I'm going to like that bike more than I like this bike. Let me go show you this bike. Oh, our puddles are growing again. Oh, this was dry this morning. There's nothing here, and now I can't get over there. Not in these, unless we take a run at it. Oh yes, we did it, we did it. We got dry feet. Okay, let me show you this bike. All right, so here's a bike I built for one of my boys, one of my other boys. This one I just acquired from my brother-in-law. This thing is beautiful. I'm trying to convince my wife to let me hang this in the house as like an art installation. This is a Zeus. It's made in Spain. Beautiful 531 Reynolds tubing. This is a really nice bike. This has got the glue-on tires. It's just, this is a racing machine, and a really beautiful example of a racing machine. I'm going to restore it either way. If I can't hang it in the house, I'm just going to hang it in the garage until it fits one of my boys. I wish this fit me because this thing's just gorgeous. But here's this bike that I got at for 20 bucks on a local classified, and I have it set up right now just as a single speed. I'm trying some stuff, seeing how it fits, and I've actually got it dialed in so it's really, really comfortable. And I think with the parts that I've had, that I've acquired over the years, and what I'm putting into it, I'll have this bike on the road for less than 150 bucks Canadian. That's a pretty good deal, and this might actually be the bike I take to town more than my Karate Monkey, because I'm going to put slick tires on here, and I think this thing might just be absolutely a champ. Now, I'd really wanted to end this video with me riding my bike down the road, and you know, some really cool drone shots following me, but it is so stinking windy. It just got windy all of a sudden, and I'm not really interested in ripping around too much right now. I hate bicycling in the wind, in a strong wind. I mean, you can't be too fussy, but it's wickedly windy right now, so I'm not gonna go for a ride. But anyways, I just wanna make this video, share with you guys one of my other passions. I mean, I love making knives, but I've been making knives all week long, and I hadn't had time to film any of it because I gotta get these orders out, and I just, you know what, sometimes it's a great relief, and it's like what you go to, it's like, it's so wonderful riding bikes. Wanted to share that with you guys, and maybe give you guys some inspiration, some ideas. If you have any tips for me on the cycling, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. I've been riding a lot. Over 10 years, I've been a very serious cyclist, and so it's fun. It's a lot of fun. You can check out my old bicycle blog. I stopped posting a lot, like the last 2 years I had it, jeromesbikes.blogspot.com. I'll put a link to that in the bottom below. Just some meandering. It was kind of fun. The blogging days was what happened. Actually, I had a YouTube channel back then before YouTube was owned by Google, and I think they're pretty lame videos on there. But anyways, good times. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers. Okay, I've got to jump back over this to get back to the house, so we'll take our run. Okay. Yes, we did it.